This was a place we were very excited to visit for a very long time. Agra wasn't what we expected. This historic city in northern India is renowned for its rich Mughal heritage and architectural marvels. It's located in the state of Uttar Pradesh along the banks of the Yamuna River, and it's most famous for being home to one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Taj Mahal, an iconic white marble mausoleum commissioned by Emperor Shah Jahan in the 17th century for his wife Mumtaz Mahal. It draws millions of visitors annually and symbolizes eternal love. And besides the Taj Mahal, Agra is also home to a collection of just incredible architecture from the Mughal Empire. In fact, the Taj is not the only UNESCO World Heritage Site in Agra. This is exactly why it is one of the most visited cities in all of India. It is a tourist hotspot, and what comes with tourist hotspots? Scammers, unfortunately. As magnificent as a journey to Agra can be for any travel enthusiast, there are some things to be aware of and to watch out for. In this video, I'm going to share the things that stood out to us most during our time in Agra, both the good and the bad. So right off the bat, if you're taking a flight into Agra, you're flying into an airport that I believe is shared with the Indian military for some sort of purpose. I'm not entirely sure on the details of that because obviously they keep it very secret. But when we flew in, we were just kind of getting to the outside of the terminal and we were about to call an Uber. And then all of a sudden, all these security guards start coming up to us and they're like, "What are you doing? You got to get out of here." And we were like, "Oh, we were just going to call an Uber to our homestay." And they're like, no Uber on this premises, no Uber at all. You have to go onto this bus, and this bus takes you outside of the airport complex. So we were kind of confused. We were like, what is going on? Is there some sort of like security situation? They have to get us out of here? But I guess it just comes down to they don't allow cars to come into the airport complex because everything has to be checked with the presence of the Indian military there. So either way, you have to take a bus that takes you outside of the airport complex, and once you get off of this bus, you are ambushed by people that are either trying to offer you a tuk-tuk ride or an Uber in a car. There's just all sorts of people that just kind of descend on the bus. And that was something that, I mean, I feel like we did a decent amount of research before getting to Agra, but we didn't realize that that was a thing at all. We were completely caught off guard by that. And it was kind of frightening in a way because there's only one way off the bus. So they all kind of crowd the door and there's really no way around it. So it was kind of crazy. We were happy that we called an Uber before we got off the bus. And the guy's name is Amit. He was absolutely awesome. We're gonna talk about him a little more. And if you're interested in calling him for his services while you're in Agra, I definitely recommend it because he was a very nice guy. He's from Agra and he was very helpful. But Amit came through the crowd and said, you know, Maxwell, he kind of recognized me from my picture, I guess. So we were able to kind of use him as an escort through the crowd of people that were trying to get us into their tuk-tuks. So that was very intense and something we weren't expecting. And I think that a lot of people do take the train into Agra because there is a train ride you can take from Delhi. And there's something called the Golden Triangle that a lot of tourists do. They go to Delhi, Jaipur, and Agra. So I think the reason we were kind of caught off guard by this airport experience is a lot of people take the train in so they never have to deal with that. And I have no idea how the train station is compared to the airport, but I'm guessing you can probably call an Uber from the train station. I'm sure there's also tuk-tuk guys trying to get you once you're off the train, but I would imagine it's just a little bit of a different experience because this bus, everybody knew the bus was coming, everybody knew where the bus was gonna drop off, and that was very intense. So back to Amit. What was great about Amit is while we were riding to our homestay, he kind of asked us what we wanted to do while we were there. And we were saying, you know, obviously Taj Mahal, we want to see a couple of the other UNESCO sites. We're just kind of here to see the architecture, take it in. And he offered to be kind of like our personal driver. That was a really nice thing. It was nice to be able to kind of plan out what we wanted to do. So we used Amit one day and he took us to a few different locations.
This absolutely fascinates me. It is literally the baby Taj Mahal. Everything from the design to the geometry, every direction you look at this building, it looks the exact same. And you even have this walkway leading up to it. Now the big difference is there's not nearly as many tourists at this one. Still quite a few, but compared to the Taj, I mean, there's really nothing that compares to that as far as tourist crowds. Now they are very, very strict about the tripod. We have a little grip on the bottom of our GoPro and they wouldn't even let us take that. So I'm literally just holding this with my fingers. So that is something definitely keep in mind. Absolutely no tripods in any of these buildings here in Agra. Everything about what we're seeing, the garden, all of the plants, the birds chirping. You even have around the perimeter, there's just these really ornate sandstone almost looking structures. I mean, look at that. That is just so beautiful. And that is on all 4 sides. The geometry of this place is also just really fascinating to me. I mean, everything is just so well planned out.
The Taj Mahal is all pretty structured as far as, you know, when you get there, and if you want to get there right in the morning when there's not as many people there. There's kind of a process to how you get into the Taj Mahal. But every other site can kind of be a free-for-all at times. So we were very happy to have Amit with us, and just to let us know, you know, watch out for guys that are offering to give you a tour or things like that. There's just a lot of scammers around, and it's something that is very important to be aware of. I mean, obviously coming into India, if you're not from India, you're probably gonna stick out quite a bit like we did. Definitely cannot recommend Amit enough. He was awesome. The one thing he said that I wasn't sure if it was true is when he was dropping us off at our homestay, he kind of said, like, you know, this area is not very safe. So just be careful, don't walk around at night. And, you know, obviously if you need to go anywhere, call me and I'll be able to provide transportation for you. So I wasn't sure if he was saying that so that we would always, you know, have his services versus just like running into a tuk-tuk around our place. But he told us it wasn't safe around the homestay. We stayed at a place called the Sunrise Homestay, which this is another recommendation for us. We'll leave a link in the description. It was an incredible experience. The hospitality was top notch. We got all of the information we needed. It was comfortable, air conditioned, private bathroom. They even had a food service there. So we ended up eating a lot of our meals there, probably because Amit scared us into thinking that it was dangerous to walk around at night around our area. So that's one thing I think we kind of missed out on in Agra was, you know, experiencing some of the street food and being out in maybe some of the markets and all of that, because we didn't really go out much at night. But the thing that I think was an incredible experience that I will never forget is that they cooked us traditional Indian meals, a lot of them that were from the Uttar Pradesh region, I believe, or just northern India in general. And we were able to try a lot of things that we've never tried before, and it was so good. We still talk about how good that food was. We were just blown away. Homemade chapati, everything, every single entree that we had, completely homemade. And we just really had a good time, not only eating the incredible food, but also having the company of them. And it just kind of felt like, it's called a homestay for a reason, I think. It felt like you were literally staying at someone's home, and we felt at home there. There's no doubt about that. The other great thing about the Sunrise Homestay, they have a rooftop, and you can see the Taj Mahal from the rooftop. You can kind of see, it's kind of a very rural area around, which is again why I was confused why it's not a safe area. In fact, a lot of times I'd go just kind of for a walk around in the morning, and I'd see these cows just walking around. There was a cow that I would say hi to every morning.
This is what's so amazing to me, like literally a cow just walking down the street. No one tending to him, just literally hanging out.
I was surprised that that would not be a safe area, but who knows? I'm not from there, so we definitely tried to take his word for it a little bit, but still not sure if that was actually the truth. There was a Starbucks that was not far from the Sunrise Homestay, and every time I walked there, I couldn't believe I was like walking through just cows roaming around, very rural, and then all of a sudden there's a Starbucks.
I can say with absolute certainty that it was the first time on a coffee run that I have had to go past monkeys. And it was about 10 monkeys. I didn't take my phone out even though I was really tempted, because I've heard so many stories about how monkeys literally just take your phone right out of your hand. So I didn't even take my phone out. Starbucks, it's our only option, don't judge us. Now I have to figure out how to cross this street. This is gonna be interesting. I'm still looking the wrong way. See? It's just scary that they don't really stop for you at all. Now if you go fast, oh, another monkey. There's monkeys everywhere. Better put my phone away.
But the Sunrise Homestay was top notch. We loved it. They gave us everything we needed for our time in Agra, and we will definitely recommend them with all our hearts. Another thing we were very taken aback by is a lot of times once you're in the historical sites, whether it's the Taj Mahal or one of the many other UNESCO World Heritage sites in Agra, sometimes there's scams even within the walls of the site, which is like so, I don't think I was really expecting that. So if you're inside the Taj Mahal, sometimes there's people that will offer to show you this secret area that no one else can see, but you have to pay for it up front. And then they just show you something that you could see anyway. And then when we visited the Mehtab Bagh, which is just a beautiful Mughal garden that's right across the river from the Taj Mahal, we actually really recommend doing this because when you're in the Taj Mahal, you're gonna be in the crowds. There's really no way around it. People go so early, leave their homestays at 4 in the morning to get there. And even if you do that, you're still gonna be waiting in line and you're still gonna have people around you. There's really just no way around that. It is one of the most visited sites in the world, so it's always gonna be crowded. But the Mehtab Bagh Gardens across the river provides an incredible view of the Taj Mahal without even having to actually go into the complex. It's probably the best view you can get of the Taj Mahal outside of the Taj Mahal walls. But we were so surprised when we got there. You basically get to a parking lot. Amit drove us to the parking lot, and you have to take a tuk-tuk from that parking lot over to the park. There's no, I guess, car traffic that's allowed there. So Amit helped us get the tuk-tuk ride, and it was no problem. But once you get there, there's a gate, and you do have to pay for it, by the way. It's not too expensive. It's definitely worth it, but there is an admission price for the park. So once we were kind of at the place where you pay to get to the park, we had all our camera gear with us. We were excited to take all these cool pictures. And they told us we couldn't take our cameras in. And we were like, what? There was nothing that said that online or on the website, or I guess we just missed the information. But we had to keep all of our camera equipment at the security gate.
Thank you so much, and just go to the step, and this is white thing to ride. Okay?
Thank you.
Welcome. Come back collect.
Oh, we will come back, yes.
Yes.
If you do come to this park, just note that all of your gear will be confiscated.
I didn't realize we even had to pay to get in. This is like the only thing. I looked up every single place we were going, what you need to know. Felt like I was very prepared. This is the one place I didn't look up because I thought it was just a park. But nope, same ticket price as the Baby Taj, no tripods, same rules. I guess that's kind of just the rules for everywhere here in Agra. It is absolutely incredible to think that I am mere kilometers away from one of the wonders of the world. We came at sunset, and something that I didn't realize would be part of that is the birds are just acting very peculiarly. It's flying everywhere, making a racket. It does kind of add to the allure almost though. I mean, that's the Taj Mahal right there. There's just moments in our adventures where it's hard to just actually comprehend. Maybe that's what the birds are doing. They're celebrating that we're here.
The birds are being birdly.
About 40 minutes later, we're officially getting kicked out of the park. But we're not alone. Most people stay till the very end. They close at 5:30 p.m. And we were just having ourselves a little photo shoot out here. There's no shame in that.
It's funny, when the sun goes down, you can definitely see the haze in the air a little bit more.
Air quality here in Agra is around 230, which actually isn't terrible for considering what we've
Isn't terrible for India.
considering what we've been dealing with Mumbai and Jaipur, both in like the high 300s.
But I will say the haze kind of adds a bit moodiness to the whole environment here.
And I honestly think that some of what we're seeing in the air is fog too, because it does, like, you kind of feel it in the air. It just gets really kind of moistury.
Yeah, when the sun does go down, it cools off here for sure.
I cannot recommend the park enough. We're gonna come back one more time later on, because you can get up to the very front, which is a different area entirely.
It's a different feed.
Which is
Imagine
interesting.
that.
Different fee, but I think that it's cheaper
And
up
it's
front.
closer. Yes.
But yeah, you can't miss the gardens either, because I mean, look at this. Like, what an incredible surrounding to take in the Taj Mahal. We hear the Muslim call to prayer going. If you are coming to Agra just for a couple days, make sure if there's a Friday in there, you plan for some other days to see the Taj Mahal, because you'll not be able to get in on Fridays.
And then once we were leaving the park, we got our camera stuff and we were just getting ready to leave. And one of the guys stopped us and said, are you happy with your equipment? And we were kind of like, what? We were confused. We thought he was talking about if we liked the products that we had. But he was saying, are you happy? You know, you left this here, it's still here. Are you happy with that service? And then we realized, like, oh, they're like shaking us down for a tip right now. Like, that's so crazy. And it's so funny because the guy that was at the security desk, he was kind of like, no, stop it. Like, he was waving the other guy off. But the guy was very persistent that we give him a tip.
Extortion. They didn't allow us to take that in.
Yes.
So they wanted tips for looking after it, but
For not stealing it? They
Yeah.
want tips for not letting anyone steal it or them take it themselves.
And then again, as we're leaving, this crowd just descends on you, trying to get you to take the tuk-tuk back to the
No,
parking
thank
lot.
you.
Where are you going?
Just the parking lot?
Parking?
Yeah, 50.
So this parking means this one people. Yeah. Parking lot. Come. Parking me. Madam me. Parking. Madam, I'm talking first. 50.
And they're all offering the same thing. They're all offering you a ride back to the parking lot. But there's 40 people all at once trying to get you into the tuk-tuk. And we had the guide that took us there. We saw him, we recognized him, and then he took us back, which we were so happy because it's just very disconcerting sometimes to have those crowds. And I totally get it. Like this is what these people do for a living, and they're competing with other people right next to them to offer the same service. It's very competitive, and they're basically, fighting for that wage. But as people that have never experienced anything like that before, it's very disconcerting and definitely something that I wanted to bring up, not to try to dissuade you from visiting Agra. You still absolutely should if it's always been on your bucket list, but it's definitely something to be aware of before you get there, because we weren't aware of it. And we didn't really experience that in other parts of India, and we were kind of shocked by it. It was just very, very intense. Being on alert for scams while you're traveling is such a delicate balance. We remember when we were in Istanbul, Turkey, we felt like we were so on edge. We thought everybody that talked to us wanted to get something out of us. Everyone that offered to show us their carpet shop, offered us a tea. We thought it was all scammers trying to get our money. When in reality, the majority of people, especially in a country like Turkey, there's so many countries in the Eastern world where we're not really familiar with the hospitality. It's just pure hospitality. They're excited that you're there visiting their country, and they want to offer you hospitality. And we were probably too on edge in Turkey, and we felt like we were sometimes missing out on experiences because we were just too scared that everyone was out to get us. But on the same token, scammers are real, and especially in a place like Agra, when a lot of tourists are coming in from other parts of the world that don't know their way around, they don't know the culture, they don't know anything specific like that, it can be very easy to take advantage of those people. And I think just that, along with the population density of a place like Agra, it can create a lot of intense situations like the ones we're talking about at the Mehtab Bagh. So that's enough about scammers. Agra is so much more than scammers, but the scammers is part of the experience. So it's just something to be aware of if you are planning a trip there. As important as it is to be on alert and be vigilant while you're traveling, it's also important to be able to immerse yourselves in the experiences you're having. And Agra is just an incredible experience if you appreciate architecture. It's known as the treasure chest of the Mughal Empire, and I can definitely understand what they mean by that. The Taj Mahal is the crown jewel, but please, please, please look past the crown jewel, because there are so many other jewels around. Whether it's the Agra Fort, the Itmad ud Dala, which is known as the baby Taj. We actually thought that was in some ways even cooler than the Taj Mahal because there's less crowds around it and you can really take your time. Mughal architecture is really special. There's not a lot of other things like it. It's very recognizable, and the way that you picture the Taj Mahal with the pointed doorways and the domes and everything like that, you see that reflected in a lot of the other architectural marvels around Agra, but each one has its own unique flavor and they're all worth exploring. Many of them are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and it's a special place. There's no doubt about that. Now, I'm fairly certain that we just scratched the surface when it comes to Agra, so let us know in the comment section if we ever go back to Agra, what are some other things that we should see, that we should check out, what are the biggest things that we missed, and as always, if you don't mind, a like and subscribe go a long way in helping us on our YouTube journey. It really, really helps us out with exposure on the YouTube algorithm, so we appreciate every single like and every single subscriber. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.